It started like any normal night. Maya and I had just finished dinner and I mentioned I needed new windshield wipers. She joked that I should have replaced them a year ago. I told her it'd take 5 minutes and we figured we might as well grab a few groceries while we were out. We weren't planning to stay long, just a quick stop before heading home to watch some dumb Netflix movie. There's a Walmart on the edge of town, Walmart Supercenter number 4217 to be exact. Right off the interstate. One of those massive 24-hour ones with everything under the sun. It's always weirdly quiet late at night, but we like that. No lines. No screaming kids. No chaos. We pulled into the parking lot around 10:40 p.m. The lot was maybe half full, scattered cars here and there. Lights inside were still bright and the automatic doors slid open like always when we walked up. Nothing felt strange. Not yet. Inside it was dead quiet. The usual background noise, intercom announcements, music, carts squeaking wasn't there. I even remember thinking how peaceful it was. The air smelled faintly like floor cleaner and something off. Not bad, just metallic. We grabbed a cart. Maya headed toward the snacks aisle and I veered off to auto. We agreed to meet near frozen foods in 10 minutes. The first thing I noticed was the lack of employees. Usually at least one person is stacking shelves or zoning the aisles even this late. But the place felt abandoned. Still clean. Lit. But no signs of life except us. Whatever. I got my wipers, grabbed a bottle of washer fluid too. I was heading back toward frozen foods when I saw the lights flicker. Just once. Quick. Then the music cut off. You know, that cheesy in-store playlist they run on loop? 1 second it was some 2000s pop song, the next dead silence. That stopped me. I stood there in front of the paper towel display listening. Nothing. I called out, "Hey Maya." No answer. I pulled out my phone, no signal. That was odd. Walmart usually has decent reception. I even tried turning on Wi-Fi. Nothing popped up. Just the spinning icon. I kept walking. The store suddenly felt way bigger than it should have. Each aisle seemed longer. Then I heard something. Far off. Like something scraping across the floor. I stopped. "Hello?" I called out. Still nothing. That's when I noticed the music was back, but warped. Slowed down. Distorted like an old cassette tape. Same song, just wrong. Then it stopped again. I turned the corner toward frozen foods and that's when I saw Maya. She was standing halfway down the aisle looking at a freezer door. I jogged toward her, a little too fast maybe. She jumped when I touched her arm. "Jesus, Evan," she said. "You scared me. You didn't hear me calling you?" "No." "Why?" I looked at the freezers, all the lights were off inside. No hum, no frost, no condensation. Just black glass. Empty. Something was wrong here. "You notice anything weird?" I asked. She looked around, then nodded. "Where's everyone?" We started walking toward the front of the store. It was silent. Still no employees. No intercom. Just the low hum of fluorescent lights and our footsteps echoing way too loud. And then we saw it. The entrance doors were shut. Not like closed for the night, shut sealed. Metal gates drawn across the inside. Locked tight. "What the hell?" I whispered. Maya rattled the gate. It didn't budge. We checked the self-checkout area, screens frozen, completely unresponsive. We went to the customer service desk. No one. Not even the little bell. Behind the desk, though, that's where we found the first thing that made my skin crawl. A blue Walmart vest, crumpled on the ground. A name tag still attached. Ben, team lead. And a smear of something dark next to it. I said nothing at first. Just took Maya's hand and pulled her away. I didn't want to jump to conclusions. "Let's find someone," she said. "Maybe they're doing a drill or something." At 11 at night? We checked the back near electronics. Then toys. Then pharmacy. No one. No employees. No announcements. No security. Just the two of us and aisles of too perfect merchandise. Then finally we saw someone. A man wearing the blue vest walking across the back of the store. Maybe 40 feet away. No cart. No radio. Just walking slow. We both called out, "Hey, sir." He didn't turn around. I jogged after him, but when I turned the corner, he was gone. Just gone. That's when the lights shut off completely. All at once. The whole store plunged into black. Maya screamed. I yanked my phone out. Flashlight on. So did she. Okay, I said, forcing calm. This is something. A power outage maybe. Just stay close. She nodded, gripping my hand tight. We made our way back toward the front, but as we passed the cleaning aisle, I noticed something on the floor. At first, I thought it was a mop. But it wasn't. It was a hand. Pale. Still. Detached at the wrist. And next to it, in sloppy red lettering smeared across the tile, inventory closed. Maya didn't scream when she saw the hand. She just stopped breathing. I knelt down, made myself look. It was real. Pale, like all the blood had been drained. Fingernails chipped. Wrist torn, not clean, like it had been ripped off, not cut. No body. Just the hand. Next to it, the message. Inventory closed. Finger painted. Red. Still wet. I stood up, flashlight shaking in my grip. We need to find a way out. Now. She nodded, silent, one hand over her mouth. We moved fast, but carefully, ducking our heads as we passed open aisles. The whole store was dark now, only our flashlights and the occasional greenish glow from emergency exit signs. That's when we heard the intercom click on. Not music. Not a voice. Just a slow, crackling breath like someone breathing into a mic inches from their mouth. Then it clicked off. We tried the fire exit near garden supplies. Locked. Not like regular locked. Chained from the inside and zip-tied over the handle like someone had taken their time. Why is this happening? Maya whispered. What is this? I don't know, I said. But someone set this up. This wasn't random. There was a layout map on the wall near the exit. I traced it with my finger. There's another fire door by the loading dock. It's a long shot. We took off down the back aisle, past pet food and hardware. That's when we saw movement. A figure. Just at the end of the row. Half-lit. Wearing a Walmart vest. They weren't walking. They were standing still, facing the shelf, head tilted sideways like they were staring at a row of canned soup. We froze. I whispered, hello? No response. Then their heads snapped toward us. Sharp. Inhuman. Like a marionette pulled by strings. I grabbed Maya's hand. Go. Go now. We turned down another aisle, cold cuts and fridges all off, and heard footsteps behind us. Fast. We cut left into the seasonal section. Huddled behind a display of patio chairs. I killed the flashlight. The footsteps got closer. Slower now. Deliberate. We held our breath. Whoever it was, they weren't looking for help. They were looking for us. They passed the aisle. Just a glimpse of their face in the low light. Expressionless. Eyes wide. Mouth slightly open. Like a mannequin trying to be human. After a minute, we moved again. Lower to the ground, quieter now. We crawled behind pallets and shelves, moving toward the back. The loading dock was fenced off with a locked gate and double doors. I reached the gate. Tugged. Locked tight with a padlock. And behind it, on the other side, more blue vests. 3 of them. Just standing. No movement. No blinking. Facing the door like they were waiting. I backed up. We can't go that way, I whispered. Maya was shaking. What the hell is this? What kind of people, eh? I shook my head. I don't think they're people anymore. We ducked into the employee hallway. The kind they used to restock shelves hidden behind fake walls. That's where we found the second body. He was slumped against the wall, still in his uniform. Pale, eyes wide open, mouth stuffed with plastic price tags. His name tag read, Jordan Asset Protection. There was a clipboard on the floor beside him. On it a checklist titled, After Hours Reset, Staff Compliance Only. Ballot box with check lock perimeter doors. Ballot box with check disable cameras. Ballot box with check disconnect Wi-Fi. Ballot box with check initiate tracking protocol. Ballot box with check secure floor staff. Ballot box with check close for inventory. And scribbled at the bottom in frantic handwriting. They're not just watching anymore. They're hunting. I dropped the clipboard. Maya whispered, "Do you think he wrote that?" I didn't answer, because what chilled me more than the body was the security monitor behind him still running on backup power. It showed feeds from across the store. One of them was us, just 5 seconds ago, ducking behind the patio chairs. Another showed a group of 3 employees standing in complete darkness near cosmetics. And one more showed a 4th person, not in a vest, just standing in the cereal aisle, smiling into the camera, watching the monitors. I started ripping drawers open, looking for keys, weapons, anything. Found a box cutter, a crowbar, and an old store radio. I pressed the button. Is anyone out there? Hello? Static. Then, a voice. Low. Slow. Male. Guests must remain in-store during inventory hours. I dropped the radio. We hid in the employee break room. It was cold. Too cold. The vending machine light flickered and someone had drawn a smiley face in something brown on the microwave door. Maya sat across from me at the table, gripping a metal spoon like a weapon. I didn't blame her. What do we do? She asked. I looked around the room. At the schedule board. At the lockers. Then my eyes caught something pinned to the corkboard. A memo. TO, all team leads. Trial run, overnight lock-in protocol. Thank you for participating in Phase 1 of the Behavioral Response Test. Compliance and containment are critical. All exits must remain sealed until collection is complete. If floor staff becomes non-compliant, reset them immediately. Reset them. I whispered the words aloud. Before Maya could answer, we heard footsteps outside the door. Fast. Then a knock. 3 times. Too calm. Followed by a voice. Not loud. Not angry. Just cheerful. Clean up on aisle 12. The knock on the break room door didn't come again. Whatever was on the other side just stood there. We didn't move. We barely breathed. Then came the voice again. Softer. Closer. Clean up on aisle 12. We heard the doorknob rattle. Maya clutched her spoon like a knife. I gripped the crowbar tighter and slowly slid my foot under one of the rolling chairs to wedge it against the door, a tiny barrier against whatever was out there. And then the sound stopped. No footsteps. No breathing. We waited. After 5 minutes, I clicked my flashlight back on, shining it toward the door. No shadows. Still, I whispered, we move. Now. We slipped out into the back hallway, hugging the walls. My shoulder brushed a rack of cleaning supplies and something clattered to the floor. We froze. Nothing. No response. But from somewhere deep in the store, we heard laughter. Not joyful laughter. Not even malicious. Just wrong. Too long. Too sharp. Like someone had forgotten how to do it properly. We crossed back into the main aisles, now lit only by emergency strips near the floor. They cast long, warped shadows across the displays. Everything looked off. Plastic-wrapped pallets sat in random places, some sliced open like someone had torn through them. Cardboard standees were knocked over. Someone had written "stocked" in permanent marker on the wall by electronics. It felt like we weren't in a store anymore. More like a maze. And the walls were closing in. We ducked into the pharmacy. The door was unlocked and it had a steel security shutter we could pull down from the inside. We needed time to think, to plan. I lowered the shutter and clicked the latch into place. Maya sat behind the counter, knees to her chest. She hadn't said anything in almost 20 minutes. Finally, she whispered, "What's happening to them?" I didn't have an answer. I just pulled out the clipboard I'd taken from the dead employee. There was a second page. I hadn't noticed it before. Taped to the back. It was handwritten. "If you're reading this, you weren't supposed to be here. They lock it at 11 p.m. It's not for restocking. It's not for maintenance. It's a test. They're testing how long you'll follow the rules before you break. If they catch you breaking protocol, hiding, running, talking to non-compliant employees, you get reset." That's what happened to the staff. They didn't follow orders. Now they're not people anymore. They watch. They patrol. They smile. And if they get you, they'll make you one of them. Jordan. I looked up. "They're not hunting us like animals," I said. "They're trying to make us obey." Maya stared. "Obey what?" That's when the shutter slammed open. A blue-vested employee crawled underneath, fast, limbs too flexible, eyes wide, face locked in a smile. We both screamed. I swung the crowbar, connected with its shoulder. It didn't flinch. Just kept crawling, that smile twitching like a glitching GIF. We scrambled out the side door, knocking over pill bottles and displays, and ran for it. We ducked into the toy aisle, panting, trying to get our bearings. And that's when we saw the security mirror overhead, the kind mounted in the corner so staff can spot shoplifters. Only the reflection wasn't, right? In the mirror, we saw ourselves standing still. But behind us? 6 employees silently approaching. We turned around. Nothing. We looked back at the mirror. The employees were closer. Still nothing behind us in real space. Maya whispered, "Are we seeing the future?" I didn't answer. I grabbed her hand and we ran again, but not before I saw one last thing in the mirror. One of the employees had a mirror version of my face. And it was smiling. We reached the back of the store, the break area, near receiving. There was an old stairwell that led to an employee-only second floor, offices, storage, manager rooms. The light above the door was red. The sign read, "Authorized access only. Violators will be removed." I hesitated. Maya looked at me. "It's that or back out there," she said. We took the stairs. Upstairs was dead silent. Dusty, forgotten. Rows of closed doors. Filing cabinets. The floor creaked. And that's when we heard something strange. Voices. Dozens of them. Coming from behind one of the doors marked, "Inventory control restricted." We pressed our ears to the door. The voices were all saying the same thing. Over and over. "Welcome, valued guests. Remain calm. You are part of a new shopping experience. Compliance ensures a positive outcome. Do not resist." Then static. Then laughter again. Closer. We crept down the hall to the manager's office. Door was cracked open. Inside, a desk, a wall of monitors, and a TV screen showing a bird's-eye view of the store. Red outlines moved across the map. Every red shape was labeled active unit. Only 2 green dots were left. Labeled guest, male, guest, female. Us. Everywhere else? Red. And then the labels started to change. One by one, the red units were being renamed. To reset complete. And our green dots? They started blinking. Then the screen flashed white. And in black text. Non-compliance detected. Manual retrieval engaged. The screen in the manager's office kept flashing that same message. Manual retrieval engaged. And underneath it in small red letters, ETA 6 o'clock. That's when it hit me. This wasn't about escape anymore. This was a countdown. Something or someone was coming to finish the job. Maya pulled me back from the monitors. What the hell does that mean? I don't know, I said. But we've got a deadline. The office smelled stale, like burnt electronics and dust. I rifled through drawers, hoping for keys, codes, anything. I found a laminated badge labeled Level 3 Override Floor Access. Beneath it was a handwritten note. Do not initiate manual override unless containment breach is confirmed. Use only if subject class guests escape floor protocol. Access to loading zone A is one way. One way. I showed Maya. She whispered, so we get one shot? I nodded. One exit. If it's even real. She looked at me. It has to be. We left the office, badge in hand, and crept back down the stairwell. The store was too quiet. I checked the map in my head. Loading zone was on the far side of the garden center. That meant we had to cross half the store right through areas we hadn't dared enter. We moved fast. Through the home goods section. Past the collapsed aisle of toppled blenders and glass shards. Everything felt off, like the store was subtly shifting when we weren't looking. Then we saw something up ahead. Not one of the Reset employees. This thing was bigger. It was wearing a vest, but its body was distorted, like someone had stretched a mannequin into the shape of a man and stuffed it with wires. Its head was wrapped in a plastic grocery bag, cinched at the neck with a zip tie. Underneath, I could barely make out the impression of a face. Not real printed. Like a display photo, laminated and glued to foam. Its ID tag said, Manager, Observer Unit 1A. It wasn't moving. Not yet. Maya whispered, go around. We ducked through a side aisle, craft supplies. Yarn. Fabric rolls. Halfway through I heard it speak. Its voice was not human, it came through a speaker that glitched on every vowel. Guest activity has exceeded parameters. Initiating reset protocol. Please remain calm. Please smile. Then came the footsteps. Fast. Too fast. We ran. Knocking over shelves, tripping on bins, gasping for air. It was behind us, never sprinting, just gliding across the floor like its feet weren't touching. We rounded a corner and ducked into the changing rooms near clothing. I slammed the door shut, wedged a chair under the knob. We hid in the far stall, crouched down, flashlight off. Breathing in the dark. The door to the room creaked open. Something walked in. And it was talking to itself. Different voices. Like it was cycling through customer service scripts. Looking for savings? You've come to the right place. Need assistance? We're here to help. Clean up an aisle, aisle, aisle. Its voice looped, scrambled, corrupted. Maya grabbed my wrist. She mouthed, it's right outside. The floor vibrated. Then silence. We waited 5 minutes. Then 10. Gone. Back in the hallway we finally reached the garden center, half-roofed, lined with dead plants and rusted shelves. There, we saw it. A metal roll-up door marked Loading Zone A. A keypad glowed red beside it. I swiped the Level 3 Override badge. It beeped. Yellow light? Then green. The door began to rise. And that's when the alarm went off. Lights blared. Sirens howled. Red strobes flickered across the entire store. And then, they all came alive. Every aisle. Every door. Blue-vested employees emerged from behind shelves and storage closets. Blank-eyed. Staring. Smiling. Like they'd been waiting for that sound. The intercom clicked on. And a new voice came through. Smooth. Synthetic. But cheerful. Guest identities verified. Final compliance failed. Manual collection team inbound. Please return to your last known shopping location. Do not resist. We ducked under the loading door just as it hit chest height. I rolled through, Maya right behind me. We were in a loading dock. But it wasn't empty. Rows of cages. Shopping carts welded into metal frames. Inside, bodies, some alive, twitching. Others completely still. All in blue vests. Name tags clipped to their shirts. Some were half-dressed. Others had their faces partially reconstructed, printed on eyes, molded smiles. They weren't just resetting employees. They were building them. Repurposing staff. Replacing them. With whatever those things were. Maya stumbled backward. They're turning people into I. She stopped. I followed her eyes. At the far end of the dock was a mirror full-length, warped by age. We stood side by side. And in the reflection, we were wearing blue vests. We weren't. But the mirror thought we were. Maya looked at me. It's already started. Then the alarm changed. A single tone. Long final. Followed by the words. Retrieval team entering premises. T-minus 10 minutes until guest termination. The alarm didn't stop. Just one long, droning tone vibrating through the steel walls and concrete floors like it was coming from inside our own heads. Then the voice returned. All remaining guests must be processed. Failure to comply will result in termination. Thank you for shopping with us. Maya and I didn't say anything. We just ran. We moved through the loading dock like rats in a trap, past metal cages, half filled with something that once looked human, past pallets of plastic wrap and cardboard boxes labeled employee assets. There were no workers down here. No people. Just machines. And something else. Behind a sheet of hanging plastic near the far wall, we saw them, 4 mannequin-like figures standing upright on surgical tables. Their heads were wrapped in clear film, faces painted on. Their mouths were open. And inside those mouths, I swear to God, there were speakers. One of them flicked on. Need help finding something? Its arm twitched. We backed away. We found a side hallway marked Logistics, Authorized Personnel Only. Door was unlocked. Inside, it looked like a regular office. A computer workstation, papers everywhere. Filing cabinets. Coffee mugs with stupid slogans like #OneFloorAssociate. But then we saw the whiteboard. Handwritten in red marker. Do not delete guests. Only reassign. System doesn't like erasure. It remembers. Underneath, circled and underlined 3 times. Guests who do not follow instructions become staff. There were photos taped next to it, dozens of them. Employee badge pictures, but poorly done, like they were made from surveillance screenshots. Bad angles, terrified expressions, time-stamped. I scanned the board searching. Then I saw it. Maya's face. My face. Badge photos. Printed. Cropped. Pinned beneath 2 empty name tags. And written beneath mine. Evan, reassignment pending. Maya whispered, we're already in the system. I stepped back from the board like it had burned me. My voice cracked. We need to shut it down. The workstation wasn't locked. No password. Just a blinking cursor and a list of running processes. One stood out. Guest_behavior_analytics.exe. Running for 47 days. Nonstop. There were logs. Guest arrival, 10:41 p.m. Initial scan complete. Separation test, passed. Compliance threshold, failed. Reset initiated. Override rejected. Manual retrieval engaged. Termination protocol in 6 minutes and 2 seconds. 6 minutes. I scrolled to the bottom of the screen. A blinking button. Terminate test environment. I clicked it. Nothing. The screen flashed red. Admin privileges required. Then we heard it. A mechanical hum coming from behind the wall. Heavy metal footsteps. Not running. Not chasing. Just walking. And getting closer. Maya turned to me. We can't outrun this. We need to do something. I yanked open the filing cabinets. Most were empty. One drawer bottom left held a handheld scanner. The kind they use to check stock. And taped to the side of it, a worn keycard, labeled Admin Floor Ops. We ran back to the terminal. I swiped the card. The screen changed. Now the button was green. Terminate test environment, confirm? I clicked it. The screen froze. And then, are you sure you want to end the experiment? Y/N. I hit Y. Every light in the building shut off at once. Total blackout. Then came a sound I'll never forget, like air being sucked out of the world. And something else. A scream. But not from a person. From the building. The walls shook. Pipes groaned. Somewhere deep above us, I heard the shelving units collapse in sequence, like the entire store was folding in on itself. Then silence. Emergency lights flicked back on. Dim, red, flickering. Maya gripped my arm. What did you do? I stared at the screen. It was blank. Except one line of text. Test concluded. Resetting environment. And a countdown. 3 minutes and 12 seconds. 3 minutes and 11 seconds. We didn't wait. Back through the loading dock. Past the cages, past the reset mannequins. Back to the roll-up door. This time it was open. We ran out into the lot behind the building. It was morning. Sunrise just peeking over the hills. The Walmart looked normal from the outside. Too normal. We staggered to the street. No one stopped us. No sirens. No fire trucks. Just morning traffic starting up like nothing had happened. I turned back to the store. And that's when I saw it. The giant sign above the doors. No longer said Walmart. Just one word. Welcome. And below that, on a temporary banner. Grand reopening, now hiring all positions. I stared. Employees were filing in through the front doors. Smiling. Cheery. One of them looked like the man from the cereal aisle. But his badge read Ben, Team Lead. The same name on the vest we'd found folded beside a blood smear. Maya pulled me away. Don't look back. And I didn't.